what is this stream about? So I have been um, experimenting with the vampire, not as much as I wanted, because of the work, and I would like to show the vampire. Let's say that, guys. I only have one OS. There are multiple versions of, but I've only tried one. And I have to say I'm quite satisfied with what I'm seeing. I thought I will have problems, but actually it's not what I thought. This time I'm taking a shower. Can't talk. By the way, I forgot to mention the names. Please say thank you to Dockster for giving you these subs. So, Ozzy, Sorcy, Raveman, Pelicus, and Marcus. Please say thank you to Dockster for kindness. So, yeah, I started playing a bit with it. It's not. I didn't code on it, but I did try my code on it. And to my surprise, it went more well than I thought. I mean, not everything worked 100% perfect. And let's say it's my fault. Because of course I didn't have a fire to take, as I would have taken care of. But most of this stuff worked properly well. I even tested, I cannot show them, but I was given some games that are being developed for the Amiga, for AGA, for the Amiga 1200. They ran perfectly well. So that's another good that yeah, a good thing to have. Let's say that. So let's start and try to see what the Apollo OS gives us. Okay, so first of all, notice that the resolution is higher than what we are used on the Amiga, of course. It can go HD, probably even higher, but I haven't tried. However, the default is 1280 by 720, so I'm using the default. Just not to mess with the OS, okay, and to be as basically you get it. Okay, so the first drawer you have, if you know the Amiga, is the devs drawer, where you have data types, for example, for GIFs, JPEG, etc., etc. Okay, so these are some of the data types that it can support. For example, PNG, SVG, JPEG. I don't know. Some of these are for Mac. I mean, I do not know them all. For me, as long as it has PNG and JPEG, it's enough for me. And SVG also. The rest are additions. So those drives, these are the devices where it boots that it recognizes. I mean, remember the Amiga, it works exactly like the Amiga, okay? So I haven't seen things different than how we are used to the Amiga. It's just that maybe things are more flashy and more organized. Let's say that. But still the same thing. So it has all these drives. So CD1 and CD0, so you can see these are CDs. We have DF0, DF1, DF2, DF3. The I is because it's an image. You basically you can load it. It reads images. So, for example, a CD image, an ISO, or things like that. And then there are the usual devices like serial, parallel, printer port, and all that stuff. So this we can say is the same. Network, we are not used to it. The Amiga did not have such a luxury, but there is TCP/IP, okay? So we can connect to the internet, and we have sort of a browser. I mean, it's limited, the browser. I can try to show you some stuff with using the browser, but this browser, I was not so impressed by it. It's the old days as we know the internet, let's put it this way. So I'm going to try this one. ASP.NET. Let's see what happens. Proceed. It's not a heavy one, but I hope it loads it. It's of course complaining about the certificate. Yeah, and there you go. It's displaying it, but in a not in the fashion that we know it. Okay. I mean, there isn't a really, or I haven't seen a real good browser on the Amiga. They came a lot after. Let's put it this way. But for Aminet, actually, I should have tried that. No, because Aminet is still Amiga friendly. There you go. So this is Amiga friendly. So it loads on the Amiga, and this is where you find the software for the Amiga. No, so as long as it does this, we are happy. No. Anyway, so that is the browser. It's quite fast for displaying such type of pages. So yeah, I don't know, Amiga Chat GTP. Okay, so because if you don't know, now even the Amiga can support Chat GTP. You can see it there. I mean, does it have a way of making the font bigger? I'm asking too much. Anyway, you can see we have a browser. And it comes configured with TCP/IP, so you can go on the internet. Preferences, you know most of these, okay? So AHI is for sound. No, you can put settings related to the sound. And if you notice, there are quite a number of, there's the standard ones that the Amiga had, plus there are additions. So the Amiga did not have 16-bit stereo, but now we have it. You can see them here with R9. Okay, but there's the other, even there's the others that we are used to on the Amiga. Okay, so these are all additions that come with the Vampire. Apollo preferences, it will ask me, because I tried this. I can show you, but I'm going to do cancel, because it will ask me to reboot to change the Apollo preferences, because it's like a sort of a protection. So if you do it, you need to reboot. And then it will start asking questions, which is a good thing, to be honest, because there are things related to the hardware, the way it is configured. Anyway, so I'm jumping that. Of course, it has a time. It has a real-time clock. I haven't installed it though. It's still in my... Here it is. There. Can I show it? There. This is the real-time scale. It's still sealed. It's so small, it goes inside the vampire. I haven't opened it yet, so yeah. But it has a real-time clock. I have not installed it. Hello, John Newby. So, then it has what you call it. For example, if you click on IFF, what tool it will use, or what pattern, or whatever. So you can add these type of things. They are built in. Okay, so these are file types. Okay, so like what we are used into Windows. Then it comes with an editor. Okay, you know this editor is called Yano editor. It's on Linux also, so it was converted to the Amiga. I think it's also for DOS, to be honest. And these are the preferences for it. Then this is a really cool addition. The font. Sorry guys, I cannot make the screen bigger, okay? I mean, it's not, the Amiga doesn't let me zoom. But you can change the workbench, the system, and screen font. We had these things. There's another icon which I have confused it with, which is also same typical icon related to font, which will let you view all the fonts, which we'll see in a minute. Then the usual stuff to control the mouse and the keyboard. Okay, so if you want to select a different keyboard, you can do it from here. If you want to test the keyboard, you can, etc. Okay. This is the local where you are based. So I should be having it. No, that's where I'm based. But because I don't have the time, the clock is installed, I didn't bother. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Well, good to know. We can say things to people that are obsessed with Linux. Anyway, now the next one, okay, and this is a good one, is the MUI interface. Okay, here is where you can define all the gadgets. I mean, the Amiga OS 3.2, etc., has got also the MUI. Okay, so where you can define the look and feel of the buttons and stuff like that of the OS. Okay, so it has all these GUI things, and actually you can program these. Okay, so same like we do on Windows, you can do it here, and you can do it also on normal Amiga, because I think for some people it is strange to think of the Amiga and think of it like you can go and edit the windows and you can edit the gadgets and all that stuff. So something that was before Windows came in. Okay. Then as the palette, of course, the vampire supports more colors, no? So, but these are basically, I think there are 256 because default is 256 colors on the desktop. So these are the colors that we have on the desktop. I didn't play with this. It's okay. I have whatever there. Doesn't matter. Now this one, guys, when you open Windows and you do File, it opens a requester. No, select a file, and then when you click on the file, it loads it for you, or it saves it for you, or things like that. Well, that comes from the Amiga. Okay, sorry to say, but that was on the Amiga through the request tools preferences, through the request tool library. It is a library on the Amiga which Windows then took. I don't know if Linux had it before, but it definitely was on the Amiga. And these are some of the things that you can configure. By the way, what I'm showing here, many of these are also on normal Amiga Workbench, okay? However, of course, this OS offers more features, so there will be less features on standard Amiga. Screen modes. You can see that I am using 1280 by 720, but you can go definitely. Look, it's here. Full HD 1920 by 1080, 32 bit color. God knows how much that is, 16 million, I think, or something like that. Or you can select 24-bit or 16-bit or 8-bit, whatever. I don't know if there's a higher resolution than that. I can see 1440 by 900, which I am not using. Anyway, these are the defaults that coming. Maybe it can go higher, but I do not know. And it has also the default of the Amiga. So these here used to come with the Amiga, that where you see PAL, and probably there is NTSC version of them. There you go. So same thing. Yes, good observation, Darchill. So since you noticed that, I was going to come to it, but since you noticed that, so the Amiga has got graphics memory and memory that is for our programs. Okay, it has 12 megabytes, which is called chip mem. Okay, where all your music, graphics, etc. should be to be able to used by the custom chips. So let's say if you have an NVIDIA GPU, let's say that, it will look in this part of the memory for its graphics and sound and all that stuff. So it retained that. So it has 12 megabytes of chip RAM. And of course, now that I've loaded things, but it has 512 megabytes of RAM. Of those 512 megabytes, we need to remove the 12 megabytes that are chip RAM. So yeah, this is completely different than normal Amiga, because normal Amiga maximum it has is 2. Okay, and this one has got 12. Why it has 12? Well, it has supports more resolutions, higher resolution, and it supports more colors. So it needs more chip RAM also. In the Amiga, you achieve this by having a dedicated graphic cards like the Picasso or whatever. They have built-in memory in them. And then the usual stuff is to change the pattern. If I want to change this image, right now it's using the default image, but I can change it if I want to. You can select here. It says, look, this is the image that I'm using, the Apollo OS R9.4, 1280 by 720, but I believe you can go and select different ones, which here are the default ones. Depending on the screen that mode that you are using, you change. So yeah. A good addition that, because maybe you are not used to it, in Workbench 1.3 definitely did not exist. Now there is the either option of saving. When you do the settings, you can save or you can use. No, like we have in Windows. It's also on the latest Workbench of the Amiga, but it was not always the case. Okay, it was more brutal before. It's either save or nothing. So you can use to test, which I do like, is that option. So now we go to storage. Storage is a copy of devs. I can show you. They are the same. Why the Amiga has two, which are the same? When it boots, it uses devs. Okay? But you can change what devices it sees when it boots. So this is why you have storage. Storage is the other things that you wanted to see, like the SD card. Okay? Or which there aren't none because they are all in the devs, which is what it says. If you have more data types, like instead of PNG, I don't know what other data, I don't know, bitmap, let's say that. It will be here, and all you do is drag and drop it from here to the Amiga data types. And when it boots up, it will start recognizing bitmaps. Hello, PixelPet. So, welcome to the stream. Today we are having a tour of the Amiga Apollo, sorry, and I should say Apollo Vampire OS. Okay, but of course it's based on the Amiga. So now we're going to reach. We have reached something. I see. Yes, C64 or Amiga or Vampire or Mega 65. So system, we have what you normally know, which is the CLI, no? The command line interface, which we do the IR, we see the directory of the OS, but we are in system. Amiga doesn't use dot. Wait. And I do not have the keyboard. I must have messed up with the keyboard. Oh. So that is what we are used to. Okay, if you had to compare this directory with a normal Amiga OS, you will see the same type of directories except for one, which is the network directory. The others are all default in the Amiga. It's because the Amiga did. But the rest is what we know. This one I haven't used this utility, but my understanding of it is that you install an ADF or a CD and an image of an ADF and it will read it and it will open it for you. You do not need to do anything here. I believe I have an image I can show you. Oh, I think. Yeah, if I had an ADF, I will click on it and it will open it. Sorry, I thought I had one here, but here. But anyway, if I had a CD image, it will do the same thing. But that's the function of it. Come to that later on. Of course, format is formatting. I'm not going to run that. Accountant is also cooking. Oh, oh. I'm causing him trouble. Okay, so of course I'm not going to click on format. Find is for finding things on the OS. I don't know, but let's say there, find there. Looking for something, but I don't know. Maybe I didn't give it the right thing, but anyway, you understood what it means. It is for finding things on the system. This is what I was talking about before, the font manager. This is a nice addition, I have to say. The Amiga lacked something like this, where you can select the font, okay, and you can see what it does, like normal, like what we have now in Windows. This was missing on the Amiga, so I was quite happy to see such a tool, the OS. You can see here this font. And it's not just fixed fonts, also blue type fonts. Okay, so from system we go to tools. Now here there's quite a bit. The first one and the second one, I'm not going to run them. I believe they're related to fleshing the no, the core to the vampire, which I'm not going to do. Okay, so definitely that needs I need to skip those. Okay, Apollo floppy. Select the number of floppy drives that we have, so externally, which we don't have. So I just Apollo Mac. I do not know what is special about this tool, but has to be something related to Mac. I do not own a Mac. I never had a Mac, and unless somebody gives me one for free, I will never have a Mac. It's not for me. So I do not know what one would need such a tool for the Mac. Hold on. No. This is not for. Hold on. Because there are tools related to the Mac. Now I realize what it means. This is related to the MAC address of the Ethernet MAC address, and you say how it ends because it does something. I'm not going to mess with it. These are all things related to the vampire, to be honest. So you see, it asked me for a reboot. So I'm not going to mess with these things. What this does? This fix the hard disk. I mean, this is like this doctor, I believe, like what there was on the Amiga. This is it shows you how much chip RAM and fast mem and the CPU, how it is. Notice the CPU is a 68080 at 92 megahertz, okay, and you have two CPU, so it's dual core. How to exit? Now it's running there, so we can see it. Apollo Shield. I do not know what it is for. I haven't read the documentation related to it, so I'm assuming it protects me from something. This is a good one. Is WHD load. this is for loading games, guys. That, you know, if we do used to the Amiga launching games, you need WHD load for things that are installed on the hard drive. So you can see here, go on shoot 'em ups, probably it gives you games. Look, R-Type. So I can launch R-Type basically, or it knows about R-Type. I'm not going to go into games right now, okay, because we haven't done most of this stuff yet. Backup is for backing the OS. So it's like the Windows backup. Calculator is calculator, no. So it's good to have a calculator on the OS. This one this is for copying icons, desktop icons, and maybe modify them and stuff like that. So it's a tool basically. Then we have our editor, which before we saw the preferences of it. So here is our editor. I don't know, go about information. You see, it says Yano editor. So it's what there is on Linux. It's a text editor, of course. Now, I'm not going to run this. This is for partitioning and doing things with the hard drive, which I'm not going to do. And then this shows you the keyboard layout, okay? Like that there is for Windows. I mean, the Amiga always had it. So here you can see how my keyboard is mapped. These I'm trying to remember. So PDF is for reading PDFs. This is Xfer. I know it is something on. We have it also on Windows, but I can't remember what it. This is for transfer. This is an FTP. You see, it connects to. I can connect to. Look, it's going to connect to Aminet. Okay, so I'm on Aminet now on this side, and I can get things from Aminet if I want to. Okay, and it downloads them on my RAM in my RAM drive. So yeah, it's a good tool, this one. About it. As I said, RNO PDF is for reading PDFs, and this one is for sound effects, RNO effects. Okay. Scout. I forgot. Yes. This is a group of tools which tells you information about the OS. For example, okay, maybe this is not the best example. For example, assigns. It's telling you the assigns of the OS, the assign command. The Amiga does some nice things that I wish Windows could do or could have. But yeah, and it tells you also where each one of them is. Same like memory tells you where your kickstart is, prem is, and all that stuff. So same for libraries, it tells you all the libraries and their version, assume, right? Yeah. You can see the version number also. And also, which is interesting, whether it's 68K or above, I believe, or 60. Anyway, it's a good tool. Okay, so then this is something that we are used to. It's a screen grabber, so you can do a screenshot of your screen. Okay. I haven't read how it works exactly, but I believe you can do a screenshot. SFSalve, I think it's your trash can, no? Where you can restore. I have nothing in it. So anything. And then these last two are quite interesting. Show config. I run something that I run, and now it's not happy with it. Okay, I must have something now. After I run the screen grab, I noticed that it's like it not frozen, but it's like it's waiting for me to do something. So I do not know what I need to do. So that's while it's booting, it doesn't take long to boot. So it's already up. Hello, Sourcey. So let's continue with our tour of the Apollo OS. Okay, so show config. This is handy, and notice something, guys. Okay, we are running AROS, as you can see here. We are running the 68080, okay, and it has AMMX hyperthreading. Okay, so what does AMMX means? And this is, apologies if I am going to say something which might not be 100% correct, but I'm trying to learn this. So it has special instructions like things related to graphics. Like, remember when there was the Pentium and then there was the Pentium MMX? It's the same thing. Okay, so it can do things related to graphics. And of course, hyperthreading because it's to core. Another thing which is very important is that it has instruction cache, so 32 kilobytes of instruction cache and 64K of data cache. These are quite handy, trust me. If you are following my series of the book, this is how things improved and became faster, let's put it this way. So it's quite good to have such a thing. Of course, here you have the RAM, and what I've been telling you, we have chip RAM and fast mem. You can see it's 488 fast mem, and this is chip RAM, okay? And then the 512K for the ROM. This is Explorer. Is tells you about the hardware basically that is connected to the device. So we have a serial mouse connected, we have a keyboard connected, we have the chips, okay, that custom chips that are connected to the CPU, and the IDE, because it has two inside, it has two IDE controllers. Two ID slots. It has one ID controller, but it has two ID slots. One is 40 pin and the other one is 44 pin. So you can connect other devices to it if you open the case or somehow manage to take a cable out. I believe there's another case which is bigger than this that lets you take cables out. Okay. So we did the tools. I will come to that in a minute, because I think most people are not realizing one thing, but I will come to that in a minute. By the way, I'm not affiliate with the Apollo team, guys. I am showing this, I'm learning this, and I think it's a good thing that we have something like the Vampire. Okay, it is 3 really good way. You know, our Amigas are going to die. I mean, you can see I have, okay, this one that you see here is the Commodore 64, okay? But you can see I have an Amiga 500 down here, okay? Under it, further down, there's an Amiga 600, which you can see me touching. But under it on this side, I have an Amiga 1200. You cannot see me touching, but it's on here, okay? And I have a Commodore 128 also, which you can see me touching, okay? Which is where the webcam is, to be honest. It's having a webcam on it. So, guys, eventually they will die. FPGA is the future of all these. It is not real hardware, no. Okay? But it is as close as you can get to the real hardware, no? It's what it is. I mean, if the Amigas die, we can save some chips, take some chips from it, and maybe get from another one and build another one from it. But eventually, even those will die. So it's what it is. No, eventually they will not be existent anymore. I mean, hopefully they will live. They're going to outlive us, like I believe, but at least outlive me. Let's put it this way. But eventually, everything comes to an end. No, so the future is FPGA for these machines. Whether we like it or not, it is not software emulation, but hardware emulation. But still, is not the real hardware. No. Hold on. It's not. This is not for you to buy a vampire. Okay, far from it. Okay, I'm using my Amigas also. However, it's good to know what options you have, and this is why I'm showing it. Because what you might not realize is whatever you do on the A1200 probably runs on the Vampire nowadays. Maybe in the past, when it was still maturing, it was not so, and it got maybe a name that it doesn't run and all this stuff. But I will show them later on things that I did, and they run. They run. So yeah, that's the thing. Of course, I'm too old school. So for me, having these capabilities is nice, but I will still go for the OCS and AGA mode more than anything. Well, yeah, I have a terrible fire, I have to say, with an 060. I haven't installed it because it's for the A4000, and the A4000 is in Malta, so it's there. When I go to Malta, I will be installing this in my A4000. But yeah, it is expensive. It's what it is, no? But eventually, my A4000 will not function also. Hopefully not. I'm touching wood a lot because to make it run, it took me some money. So, and now I spend money on it. So yeah. But it's good to have options. So, where was I? No? So, here are the normal things that we are used to, except for one. Okay, so clock, the Amiga clock. I personally like the Amiga clock of Workbench 1.2 or 1.3, but it's more the clock that I like. But yeah, it is what it is. It's more more shining, this one. Okay, then you have documents where you have like Windows stuff where you store stuff. You can show pictures, okay, which I don't have any here, but you can display pictures like what is it called on Windows that display pictures. And this is cool. You can play videos. I'm just going to select one of them. Okay, the add-ons family. And I'm going to play it. Anyway, it as you can see, it can run videos quite smoothly, and it's quite cool. Yeah, I do have the PyStorm. I have not installed it in my Amiga, but I have one here, and HoundDog is doing me another one because I need to. So I have one here. Okay. Yeah. So the PyStorm still needs an Amiga. So that's the thing, it's accelerating the Amiga. So yeah, it still requires the hardware to run the current hardware. So as I said, I have this, but I am too old school to have. Let me remove them from here because they're covering the camera. I'm too old school to use such things. I mean, it's good to have them. I have them. I say I have them, but yeah, I prefer standard, the Amiga standard. Let's put it this way, and this is why I got the Vampire, because the Vampire is something different, and that's what it is. So yes, why do you think you don't have hardware limits in the Apollo? I mean, if you decide to go OCS, you have a hardware limit, which is OCS. If you decide to go AGA, you have a hardware limit, which is AGA. So you can do those things anyway. The only thing is you have more CPU, more RAM, but it's an evolution, of the current Amiga. But yes, do you code yourself, Dart Cherry? No. I do not consider the PyStorm as negative, and I don't consider For me, these are all good things, and it's good things to have. So I see them as a way, we cannot stay with the Amiga as it was in the 80s, no? We need to somehow progress it. And these are ways of progressing it. So it's good that we have these options. Okay, good that you are learning to code. I hope you're following my series. Joke. So the last one is games. So I can run any game. As I said, let's do Arkanoid. Comes with these games came with it pre-installed. Okay, there are in thousands. Okay, but there are some, and we can run it, and you can see it's loading WHD load, and it will run the game. So this is the famous game of Arkanoid. I have no sound, I think. That is related to the capture card. Yeah, it's related to the capture card. I will not. Hello, Nanny. Welcome to the stream. Guys, it's something that I should have checked before I started the stream, and I forgot. Basically, the capture card needs a reset, but if I do it, it will take me some time because I will need to unplug all the cables and everything back. So it will become a bit of a mess. So okay, we don't have sound for the game, but anyway, you saw the game, so it can run all the games. Let's say that using WHD load. So all with it and startup, workbench startup. These are tools that it will run. Okay, scripts or things like that. Like as I said, attach the SD0 or the SD card. To you click, it comes to the front. Definition of icons, having opaque, workbench docker. So this is the workbench docker. Who followed? Oh, subscribe, Nani. Thanks. Thanks for the subscription. Thank you, thank you. You just came in and you just subscribed. My God, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. So far, from what I can tell, yes, it works with any HDMI LCD monitor. I know in the past it had issues, but I did not have any issues. I'm attached to an AOC monitor. I've attached it to TVs. You cannot see them, but I have 3 TVs behind me. Old ones, you know, that you can have Amigas with them, and no problem. I mean, they are LEDs, but the old generation, and they all worked. So I do not have any issues with it. I don't know if there are issues anymore, but personally, no, I did not. I do not have it. So anyway, that was the workbench startup. Now, here is the beauty. Okay, we're going to go with programs that it comes with. Now, there's quite a number of programs here. Okay, so first of all, it comes with demos. Okay, I'm just going to try, and you can see they are divided. AGA, Maggie is the. I will come to it actually. Let me skip it. Then demos which are OCS, demos which require a graphic card, and demos that are Saga, which are vampire demos. So let's see some vampire demo. No, I haven't seen it, so this I know which one it is. I've seen it. I haven't seen it since I got it, but this is showing the sprites, the hardware sprites of the vampire. Of course, yeah. Dart Chill, yes. This is not OCS or AGA. This is Saga. Okay. However, you can. There's nothing stopping you from using, you know, Saga. Sorry, OCS or GA or AGA. As I said, this is a vampire typo. Okay, so you can decrease the number of people and you can increase. and I'm going to exaggerate. There you go. And it can handle them quite well. So, ciao Brigel! I'm showing the Vampire V4 standalone. You can see it here. So yeah, and it's showing you also the frames, I guess, at the top upper right hand corner, upper left hand corner. So there you go. Of course, the frames decreased when I was increasing the number of animations, but it can do also OCS. Okay, so I'm just going to one flash throw. You're not going to hear music, unfortunately, guys. As I said, I have problems with the capture card, but demo is there. You know this demo is quite a famous one. Try. Maybe I can try to fix. Not sure, but I'm going to try. Normally, it is that. No. No. Apologies, guys. That cannot show you sound, unfortunately. However, it comes also with something called Megi 3D. What is Megi 3D? Okay, so Megi 3D is like what we have OpenGL. Okay, it comes with this library called Megi 3D, which allows you to do 3D graphics on the Vampire. Of course, this is a Vampire thing. Okay, this is not an Amiga the way we know it. Okay, but it's good that it has such a thing. We cannot say, oh, it's not good. Okay, it's a good thing to have. That in future, when let's say this becomes more popular, let's put it this way, or I think it's popular. I think it's popular more than we know. It's just that we do not think of it like we think of the Amiga. No, to run this OS, you need a Vampire. It's the Apollo OS. So it runs on this box here, which is the Vampire. I do not know you can run it on an Amiga. I do not think so. Or maybe you can run it on a. It's written specifically for this box, but it is Amiga compatible. Guys, I'm not affiliate, as I said, and I'm telling you what I learned. It's not that somebody came and preached me about the Vampire. So I am quite green. I only had this since Amiga 38. So what? 2 weeks, 3 weeks? That's how long I've been playing with it, and to be honest, not to the desire that I wanted, because I had to work and I had to work in the evening too. But it's good to know about, and to know that if you code something for the Amiga, okay, why not knowing if it can run also on this? Okay, let's say. I will come to that in a minute. Okay, so here are some demos which we can skip. I'm going to skip the developer for now. Emulators. So it comes with these 5 emulators: an MSX emulator, a Neo Geo emulator, what you call it, video, call it I cannot remember the name. I'll skip it because I cannot remember. Sinclair, okay, ZX Spectrum, and arcade games. And ColecoVision, this one, no? Oh no, this is the Atari, what I'm saying. This is the Atari. However, I do not have them here. There is also Apple emulator and an NST emulator. Atari ST emulator. For sure, there are those two. Maybe there is more, but those that I know of. So, then we have games, and these are some of the games that it comes with. I already showed you Arconoid. I'm not going to go into that again. Then it comes with graphics, and there are some tools related to graphics. But of course, you need to install other tools related to graphics. Let's put it like this. I haven't tried these, to be honest. Photogenics. It's a drawing program, which I'm not going to go in, but just to show you that it has some drawing tools. Then, of course, it has for playing music, like the hip hop player, which I cannot show you music right now, but there is the hip hop player. And place it on the milk tracker. Now you can do tracker music, no? And as you can see, here I see 7, but it's got 8 channels. See, there are 8 channels. Okay. And that needs a reboot. Yes. This is the thing, that this requires a bit of a much more powerful hardware, no? However, most of the features are there of same as the Amiga, no? Tools. There are some tools that you already know, like this info. If we speed test, of course, this is going to be super duper fast. To the see, it doesn't fit. And the 68040 is somewhat. So yeah, just to see how much it can do compared to normal Amigas. And again, there is more things like a joystick tester, a stress test. There is Samba for some reason. And anyway, other tools, which I don't think we need to go into. Okay. And I'm coming to personal. Sorry, I just skipped one there. I'm going to leave it after this one, which is developer. Okay. It comes with personal is where you store like our folders on Windows, no? Like this is where you store things related to the application, audio, demos, documents, downloads, games, pictures, sources, or video. Okay, so this is like our document folder on Windows or home Linux. Now, back to the developer. This is interesting. This is what really interests me. Okay. Notice it comes with a number of tools. Okay, like E. Okay, the language E. Blitz Basic. Okay, I'm a Blitz. Amos Pro. This is the latest update of Amos Pro. There are some demos. Also, again, the OpenGL, let's say that, for this machine. Then, one of my favorite tools, as in one. Okay, then there's a guide related to C, and then DefPack, which you all know, it is the assembler. Then we have also another tool for E. Filex, I don't know what it is. Maybe I need to read. No? Oh. Ah, it's a hex editor. Okay. So we have a hex editor. That's cool. This is motherboard brought Saga docs. So this is documentation related to the Saga chipset. Some tools. Okay, you can see also there are more coding tools here and information. There is Vezim, which we know because we use it on the PC. Okay. And then there is VBCC. So if you want to do C, no, on the Amiga. These are tools that are also cross compatible. You know, I mean, you can run VBCC on the PC and then bring the code and run it on the and compile it on the Amiga. So there are all these. Of course, DefPack. No DefPack. Okay, the assembler. It runs quite nicely on it. Don't think there are any sources. Sources. Assemble it. Okay, these are what comes with DefPack. How we assembled it. And boom, it crashed. So, and I know why it crashed, because it doesn't take care. It's assuming it's running on an A500. That's why. So, just because it didn't run, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. So, I was saying, please don't be fooled by having such a message, okay? This should not put you off from thinking, oh, it's a vampire thing. No, it's a code thing. When this code was written for the A500 only. So it will not work on other Amigas. Okay? So even if I had to run this on the Amiga 1200, it will crash. So it has nothing to do with the vampire. Some people get fooled with this. I say, oh, they blame the hardware. It's not. It lacks a startup file. You know, nowadays, after the Amiga 500, we had to come up with ideas of how to have a standard way of booting the OS and taking control of the OS. So you need a startup file. This code lacks a startup file. Okay, so this is why it hanged. Okay, let me reboot. Here all this thing. So last bit what I want to show you. Okay, so I have done assembled some of my games, okay, and I wanted to see how they're going to behave, and some tools that I have, okay, and I wanted to see how they're going to behave. So here is the first one, which is an intro that if you are on my Patreon, you have the source code for it, okay, which we coded live, this one, and then I shared it. So unfortunately, there's no sound, even though it's playing, but you can see that the demo is there, okay? I just mentioned Dockster, look, Dockster! Anyway, it's a simple demo, simple intro. I'm calling it demo, it's an intro, no? But this was the beginning of how to get you to start doing intros or demos for the Amiga. You had a picture, an image, you can play music, and you have a scroll. Okay, so using Blitter, you're using hardware scroll and move the image left and right. That's hardware scroll. And you're playing music. Okay, so a few little things that we did in my series. Okay, and notice I thought these things will not work, but because I was using my startup file, and I'm going to come to it in a minute, they did work. Okay, so most of the things when they do not work is because you don't have a proper startup file. Some people just kill the OS just like that. So the first, guys, this is available on YouTube and the sources are available for free. So if you want to learn how to code for the Amiga, whether it's Vampire or not, or whether it's normal Amiga, this is the place where to start. Okay, we coded this live on stream, and it's our lovely Mr. Pooh game, which I made fun. By the way, I have a Vampire joystick too. So you can see game, it's working. As I said, I'm sorry I do not have music. It's related to my capture card. But it's there. Okay, it's working. The code of this is available, and we coded this with the intention that others can follow up and can do something. So yeah. Okay, you can see that the energy is going up. Everything works normally, okay? I'm not going to play it, but I just wanted to show that it does work. This, we coded it on an A500, guys. And we are on the Vampire, and it's working. Okay? And the music plays also, okay? So, then we did this game. I'm going to run Dino Run first. These are all Amiga games, okay? So, this is what there is of Google, okay? And we can play this one too. Actually, this one is played with them. So, I have no issues. As you can see, this was all done in assembly, okay? And it's working. Because when I was coding it, I thought it needs to work on all type of hardware. Yes, it takes a bit longer to do such a code, but it is important to have such a thing. Anyway, I'm not going to continue to play it, but you'll get the gist, okay? Exactly. As Dart Chill said, why bother to make it? You can code for the A500 and then make sure that it runs on the Vampire. What's the problem? Like I did, this was for the A500, same as the previous one. So yeah. Now, what I'm going to show you is something that I have not finished. Okay, and I thought it will really not run this one. Okay, so because it was, I mean, the way I'm playing with the Blitter, it is in a way specific. Not specific, but it's not complete. So I thought it will crash on this one. However, this is the two-player version of the same game. It's not done. You'll only see one player, but um, you can see the scroll top and bottom, but there is no dyno on top. But it does work. Okay, so I was pretty amazed to see this working because I know it has bugs, lots of bugs. Okay, so but now now you can see the all the things because of the bugs that it has. Okay, it's, as I said, it's not complete. Anyway, so I was quite surprised on this, but here is where, and those that follow me, yes, so this is another thing. If I want to run it, if I want that my game runs on all type of Amiga machines, I code for the A500. I do not code for the Apollo, not for the Vampire, right? So that's what you need to do. But if I'm going to use Saga, okay, the Saga chipset, then I know it will only run on the Vampire. So I will code for the Vampire. If I'm going to use AGA, then it's going to run on an Amiga 1200 and upwards. So I will code for the A1200. This is how you have to think about it. You will not code for the A1 for the Amiga 1200 on an A500. So it's logical, no? So the same thing here. Now, what I want to show, this one. And this is my startup file and doing the checks. Okay? Now, this doesn't run 100% okay because I did not have a Vampire, which I will fix now. But notice something. So basically, it detects the hardware that I'm running on. Okay? Notice that I have detected that the CPU is an FPGA. Okay, the graphic chipset is also saying wrong there because it's saying it's AGA, not Saga. Also, the processor is a 68040, not a 68080. Because I did not have the hardware to test on, but the software runs. Also, the kickstart is wrong. It's not 3.9. It's whatever the arrows is. I'm not sorry. If I code it for the 500, I will not make another version for the Vampire. But if I want to code for the Vampire only, that is Saga, then I will code for the Vampire. No, I do not see doing a game for the 500. I mean, think about it like this: forget the Vampire. If you code for the 500, okay, will you then do the same game in AGA? Some people do, but It's very, it's not common. So yeah, it's I don't know. I do not think I will be doing my games in Saga, but I'm happy that they run on Saga, that they run on the Vampire. So yes, I think this is where it ends for me. I mean, I don't know if I explained it properly, but makes sense to me. So this is what I wanted to show, that if you follow what I've been showing so far on my streams, the correct way of coding stuff, then things will work on any platform. Maybe you will have to do some tweaking, like you can see here. I detected that I have an FPGA, but then I do not have the correct version of the CPU. I do not have the correct version of the chipset. Okay, but still, it ran. That's the most important part, that it runs. And last but not least is the game that we are doing right now on my streams, okay, which is the 10 game. So you can see it's working on the Vampire without any issues. Okay, it's, I can move down. Okay, this is where we left it. Okay, and it has no issues. Remember, the code for this will be available for you guys eventually. I mean, for my patrons, it will be available immediately, but for public, it will take time. So that's what you need to think about when you are coding, that whatever you write, try to make it work as much as possible to as many Amigas as possible. And don't ignore hardware. For example, if somebody comes and tells me it doesn't run on the Pi, okay, on PyStorm, if I have the PyStorm, I will try to fix it and learn why it's not running on the PyStorm. Because once I learn why it was not running, then the future games will run on that. For me, this box, the Apollo box, the Vampire box, I am, so far since I've been testing it, I'm quite satisfied with what it has produced. I honestly thought I will have lots of issues running, and remember, I'm not even running a kickstart of the Amiga, but an open source kickstart, which is Aros. So I thought I will have a lot of issues, but yeah, I'm quite happy with what I saw, or with what I'm seeing. Now, guys, this was my first stream. I have the intention of doing more streams. I do not want to say this is going to be a weekly thing, because I am still green on the Vampire. Also, there are other OS. There's the Coffin OS that I'd like to try. But definitely I will be coding for the Vampire too, because I want to learn the new features of the Vampire. So I will be sharing what I know of the Vampire with you, what I learned. I'm hoping that there will be people that will teach me things related to the Vampire also, because I really do not know. I do not know the instruction set that it has, the additions that it has to the instruction set, the MMX chipset, the MMX instructions, I do not know them, and things like that. So, yeah, watch out. I will definitely be streaming for this machine, but at the same time, we will continue our game, which is the 10 game assembly for the Amiga 500. But now we are able to test it on this machine too. And that's the nice thing. So guys, thank you very much. So I hope you liked what I showed tonight. It's definitely something that is of interest, having such a device. And who knows, you might be able to do some coding for the vampire using the vampire features. Because right now I'm not able to. I do not know it. I do not know enough. But hopefully we will get there. Okay, it's nice to have to be doing such things. Anyway, guys, thank you very much, and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.